Delmarva Today with Don Rush.
The first trans woman is crowned Miss Maryland, USA. We'll have an exclusive interview with Christiana McBride with PFLAG in Salisbury about what that means to her, as well as a look at her own transition. Chris Field is holding his Bluegrass Festival. Brian Russo has an exclusive interview with the headliner group Asleep at the Wheel. And we'll explore moral questions raised in a new novel by author John McNellis. You're listening to Delmarva Today. This is Don Rush. On the stage at the Miss Maryland USA finalists huddled together to hear who won the crown.
Your Miss Maryland USA 2024 is Bailey Ann.
Thus, Bailey Ann Kennedy became the first trans woman to be crowned Miss Maryland USA. The 31-year-old immigrated from Cambodia when she was 11 years old. She's also the wife of a Marine. And after winning, she had this interview on Facebook.
It symbolizes everything because, as we all know, MUO has now celebrated women universally, no matter their age, no matter their gender, or their marital status. And as a military spouse and as a proud trans woman, I hope to display this in a positive light. And as an immigrant myself, the immigrant tenacity, I hope to showcase that to people and hopefully inspire somebody along the way.
So, Susan, what do we know about her? She won. It was a surprise.
It was, and there's been a lot of celebration in the trans community for the past couple weeks since the new Miss Maryland USA, 31-year-old Bailey Kennedy, made history. She was crowned at the Bethesda pageant on June 1st. She is also the first Asian American and military wife to be crowned Miss Maryland. She vowed that her goal now is to make sure children who she said feel like me will never have to worry about the consequences of being who they are. She said, not everyone has to agree with the spaces you occupy, and it doesn't mean you aren't worthy of these opportunities. Miss Maryland, who is a Cambodian American, adamantly speaks out against transphobic hate comments that were aimed at her when she won the title. Contestants for Miss Maryland USA are interviewed, and there's a swimwear and evening gown portion of the competition. Trans women have been accepted since 2012, and organizers say they are certainly welcome. They said her winning is a win for everyone who dreamed the impossible dream. And they said everyone has a right to live authentically and to pursue every opportunity they believe Bailey Ann embodies. And they definitely believe she embodies all those values.
And, of course, we also should note that there are several trans women who have broken pageant barriers. In 2021, Catalina Enriquez won Miss Nevada USA to become the first to compete actually in the Miss USA pageant. And also last year, two trans women, one from Portugal and the other from the Netherlands. They vied for the crown of Miss Universe. Later in the program, we will also have an interview with Christiana McBride, transgender woman with PFLAG here in Salisbury, to get her, not only her reaction, but to tell her own story. So we'll have that coming up in a moment. Susan, we also have the Out Leadership's 2024 State LGBTQ plus Business Climate Index. What's that about? How does it work?
It's quite a mouthful, isn't it? It has been released, and according to the index, Delaware has made progress. There has been more inclusivity, but not quite enough. There's still more work to be done. The report, called the Out Leadership Report, keeps track of the business climate for LGBTQ plus people. It ranks inclusivity in every state. It determines where people feel welcome, where they live and work, and it looks at hardship and discrimination in those communities. The report states discrimination against the community means challenges for talent mobility, retention, and development. The report highlights gaps in inclusivity. It shows where certain states can work to better protect those in the LGBTQ plus community and best practices for businesses. And the 2024 State LGBTQ plus Business Climate Index ranks U.S. states across 5 categories of legal and non-discrimination protections: youth and family support, political, religious attitudes, health access, safety, work environment, and employment. That index found that LGBT plus equality is decreasing across the country for the second year in a row. The average score among all 50 states in 2024 was 62.77, and that's down from 63.48 in 2023. So we're looking for an increase in 2024 statistics.
And I also noted, by the way, some of the stats that some 58% of Delaware residents support same-sex marriage. And the other interesting figure, 7.5% of the population identify as LGBTQ plus. And also the business income from all of this is about $2.8 billion.
Wow.
So we also have the retirement. A lot of people work for small operations, maybe more than 5 people, but nonetheless have a difficult time saving for their retirement. What's the state of Delaware doing? I understand is joining Colorado in sort of an interstate consortium.
The Delaware Earns is the new program that Delaware is going to start. It officially kicks off July 1st. It is a mandatory retirement savings plan run by the state treasurer's office for employees of small businesses with 5 or more employees. Starting in August or September, a default amount of 5% will be taken from every employee's paycheck every pay period. Employees can opt out, and they're not required to participate if the companies they work for already have retirement programs like 401ks. But if they do participate, they can save thousands of dollars every year. That's according to Ted Griffith. He's the Earns program director. I talked to him, and he told me it's an easy pathway to savings because automatically 5% of your gross paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, monthly, however often you're paid, goes into an IRA and then gets invested in a fund. Delaware Earns is being overseen by the treasurer's office, and there's no cost at all to employers.
And also in Ocean City, we got the Pride Film Festival.
Yes, this Saturday night, June is Pride Month, and there are many celebrations and events. And this Saturday night, there's going to be a film festival at the Ocean City Center for the Arts. That's on 40th Street and Coastal Highway. This Saturday at 7 o'clock, 7 films will be shown, including Of One's Own, about a young man participating in his first gay speed dating. That sounds like an interesting one. And Chasing Justice, about a law student who works with a transgender inmate. First You, Then I is about a woman caught in a toxic relationship. One warning, though, the movies are not rated and could be offensive to some people. That's what it said on the invitation. It's free, but a $5 donation is suggested.
Is this the first one, or is this they've
I
had a
think
number
this
of
is
them?
the first one. I haven't seen this before in Ocean City. But I plan to be there to see how good it is. Hope they have popcorn.
So you can stop by and see some of the films.
Yes, I'm going to stop by and see the film. That speed dating is
The
kind of
speed dating,
interesting.
is that okay? Is that it's like a self-interest thing here,
It's-
just to kind of broaden your horizons? Is that
I might get in trouble at home, but I'm going to.
I'm getting
I'm
you in
gonna
trouble
try.
already.
That's right.
I'm getting you in trouble. We also had the 135th anniversary of Ocean View, of course.
Coming up Saturday, yes, there's going to be a parade from the church at the corner there, the corner of West Street and Route 26 in Ocean View. There's a parade that's going to go to John West Park, and that's going to continue. I think the parade starts at 12:30, and it continues until 3 o'clock. There'll be some proclamations, free cotton candy, free cupcakes shaped like the number 135, and there's going to be obstacle course and big bouncy houses for kids. It should be a good time. And also Saturday morning is it is the annual Selbyville Old Timers Day, which is a big celebration with a car show in Selbyville. That's Saturday morning. Big weekend.
And also, finally, you had a chance to talk to State Senator Sarah McBride's father. He is the father of Sarah McBride, who is running for the lone congressional district in Delaware. She's currently a state senator, transgender woman. What did he have to say as he reflected on Father's Day?
I had the nicest conversation with Dave McBride. He's the father of Delaware State Senator Sarah McBride, the state's first transgender senator. I talked to him for a Father's Day article that I'm writing, and he was very open and loving about the senator's desire to live life as a woman. She was born the third son and youngest child of Dave and Sally McBride, who live in Wilmington. He told me it was on Christmas Day when she told her parents she wanted to transition. He remembered being in his office, the office of his home, watching a sporting event on TV with another one of his children, and his wife came upstairs and said, "You aren't going to believe this." And he said, What am I not going to believe? And then Sarah McBride came in and explained. He said he was really impressed with how patient she was with him and her mother as they tried to grasp the reality that she wanted to transition. He said he didn't reject her or reject the idea of her living as a woman, but that he didn't completely understand. He continued to question her, but he said she never lost her patience. That was about 13 years ago. He said she was so patient with her parents, not for an hour or two, but for months and months of him asking question after question, why this and why that, telling her, "I don't understand. What are you going to do?" He said she never lost her temper. As her father, he praised her for being an extraordinarily hard worker, And as a state senator, she's now running for Congress. They also have 2 sons and 5 grandchildren. For Father's Day, McBride will get a visit from their son Dan, his daughter-in-law, and their children, and he's hoping to also get a visit from the senator. In a very quiet, touching part of our conversation, he talked about walking his daughter down the aisle in August 2014 when she married Andrew Cray, who was a transgender man. Cray sadly developed cancer, and Sarah McBride took care of him. He recovered, but the cancer returned and spread to his lungs. It was terminal. He was 27 years old. He died 4 days after they were married. And then Dave McBride told me about talking to his daughter once when she was home on Christmas break from college. He said he went into her room and he told her, "I'm really going to miss you." And she said, "Why, Dad?" And he said, "Because every time I get worried or concerned or frightened, I come into this room and I look at you and I see how well you're doing and I feel comforted." And then he said to me, and that is the story of my life with her. A very nice interview with Dave McBride. I was really impressed with him.
There you go. And we've been speaking with Susan Canfor. She is a reporter for Coastal Point. Appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us this afternoon.
Always a pleasure.
You're listening to Delmarva Today. This is Don Rush.
Delmarva Today with Don Rush.